Selfridge, I said good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right.
I'm still weak, Chief.
Hoo-ah! How's that, Sergeant Major? Hey, it is great to see all of these smiling faces. We haven't been able to do this in a long time. So with our mask mandate lifted just this last weekend, it couldn't have come at a better time. What were the odds that we were going to be able to gather like this at the very same time the 13th Command Chief of the Air National Guard was planning to visit Michigan? How about that? What? Yeah. I know you're excited to hear from him. He's excited to talk to you. So without further ado, the 13th Command Chief of the Air National Guard, Command Chief Williams.
Hey, so it's great to be here, and thanks, as I've been going around the wing today, hey, thanks for preparing the weather for me this weekend. Because I heard it's supposed to snow tomorrow. I'm leaving tonight, though. Hey, but I think we're going to start off by recognizing a few airmen we want to recognize, so let's go ahead and get started.
Airman First Class Claudetta Mariah is a financial management accounting technician who recently completed her 5-level upgrade training. She is in charge of the certification, auditing, and training for 49 wing government purchase cards, expensing nearly $3.4 million annually. Airman First Class Mariah stepped up during the COVID-19 pandemic as a vital member of Operation COVID Hammer, contributing to the state of Michigan, leading the way, and vaccinating more than half of the population in early 2021. In addition, Airman First Class Mariah managed the CARES Act expenditures, securing a safe and sanitized environment for a full force return to work. Finally, Airman First Class Claudetta Mariah won the 2021 127th Wing Outstanding Airman of the Year for her volunteerism and commitment to excellence.
Hey, so Airman Mariah, on behalf of myself and the Director of the Air National Guard, I want to present you with our coin. And this is not for only things that you did in the past, but things you're going to do in the future, and to help to progress our Air National Guard and our Air Force. So thank you. All right.
Senior Airman Sherry was selected as the 127th MSG OAY for the 2021 cycle in the Airman category. Senior Airman Sherry's accomplishments include supporting the 2001 inauguration, where she was deputized by the DC Police Department, providing crowd control, control point staffing, and response to civil disturbance capabilities. Additionally, Senior Airman Sherry exemplified multiple capable airmen by completing the CompTIA security plus training for future cybersecurity realms. She is frequently either leading the way or handpicked in areas typically entrusted to NCOs. Her responsibility as an airman includes providing squadron-level mission training, securing $2 million equipment during wing-wide large-scale readiness exercises. In support of the whole airman concept, she successfully completed her associate's degree in computer information systems science.
Airman Sherry, on behalf of myself and the Director of the Air National Guard, continue to lead the way in the things your supervisors recognize. Those are the things that we want in our organization for people to be proud and aspire to the highest level. So thank you.
All right, here we have Staff Sergeant Andrew Thompson. He's a machinist for the 127th Maintenance Squadron. A few reasons why he's up here today. He's had an incredible year. He's first served on COVID hammer orders for 7 months for the state joint operation. Did that. After coming back from that, he still took care of his duties as a machinist. Came in, knocked out his 5-level. He was an upgrade training guy. Took care of all of it. Finished ALS correspondence. All in that time. And then right when we had him, where we thought, you know, he was going to come back and be a machinist, takes off and goes to Operation Allies Refuge and Operation Allies Welcome to serve as a Pashto linguist, which was his old previous AFSC. Smart guy, great attitude. We're lucky to have him.
Staff Sergeant Thompson, hey, as your supervisor said, hey, thanks for being that smart guy. Hey, and thanks for all other things that you did outside of your career field of being a machinist, and hey, and going out and helping with the OAR and OAW operation. That has an effect on our NATO partners, and that's showing the thing that you can contribute to our organization. So on behalf of myself and the Director of Air National Guard, I present you with one of our coins.
Good afternoon, everybody. I have Staff Sergeant Katarina Sequin. She joined the unit back in March 2020 and was on her way to Med Group when a great change of fate for her enabled her to come over to 191st AMXS. So with that being said, she has been a great addition to our unit. Before she even went to tech school, she was able to work with the UCC for the large-scale readiness exercise. Once she went away to tech school, finishing her 5-level and becoming proficient in all of her tasks. So, and on top of all her military accomplishments, she was also able to make her way through the Marines as an active duty. For 4 years, she was 3.5 years in the reserves. But on top of that, embodying the whole airman concept, she has also gotten through her junior year of her degree for business management, and she's a proud parent of a beautiful young girl, Carmen.
Hey, so on behalf of all the things that you've accomplished, you know, you almost went through all 7 branches of service. You got a few more to go. But hey, that shows the resilience. So hey, on behalf of myself and the Director of Air National Guard, I'll present you one of our coins on the things you're going to do and set that example for your daughter, as he mentioned, that you've been resilient and being that great maintainer.
This is on behalf with Master Sergeant Biley, our Intel Ops, 810 Ops Superintendent. Master Sergeant Biley deployed for 4 months to Joint Base McGuire in support of Joint Task Force Liberty, was part of the initial cadre standing up for the TOC and the Michigan Air National Guard Chalks. He was a Tactical Ops Center NCOIC, leading a 24-hour team supporting 13,000 Afghan evacuees. On top of that, he established comm support for the JTF leadership management flow for 22 agencies, 2,100 U.S. personnel, and $22 million in assets.
So, Master Sergeant Ballard, hey, thanks for what you're doing. Thanks for being that CNCO we need in our organization and leading those airmen to expire and get the mission completed. So on behalf of myself and Director of Air National Guard, I'm position one of our coins. All right, so hey, it's a great opportunity to be here this weekend. Like Chief Gordon said earlier, it's always great when we can get back together as one big group. Because, you know, being in front of individuals, having that one-on-one contact and that eye contact with individuals, that had a great effect on how we project things, how we see things, and how we perceive things. One of the greatest things, one of the things I know many of you have been watching on the news of what's going on within the European theater, and how we have individuals posted around those NATO countries, observing how things are going. You know, currently right now, as you've heard all the years, that the United States is a superpower. But how will we keep being that superpower? The most important thing that keeps us being that superpower is the enlisted force in our branches of our services. If you go around to other countries, no other enlisted force is empowered like they are in the United States. I was in a briefing one time, and it was myself, I was only enlisted in the room, and there was about 20, 25 general officers in there. They was getting a brief. And the brief was on Russia. And the briefer was standing up there, he used a term called disorganization. He said that's what Russia feels the most for the United States. And what he means by that is, the fear is for that enlisted force, for them to beat us, that we will not understand the commander's intent and we will not follow through with the commander's orders. But as a well-disciplined enlisted force we don't have that problem. Because we recognize what's the greatest resource we have in our DOD. People. That's right. The Secretary of Defense has 3 priorities. Defend the nation, take care of our people, succeed through teamwork. The Chief of the National Guard Bureau has 4 priorities. People, readiness, modernization, reform. The Chief of Staff of the Air Force, General C.Q. Brown, has 4 action orders. Airmen, bureaucracy, competition, design, implementation. My boss, the Director of the Air National Guard, has 5 priorities. Ready forces, people, partnership, force structure, and policy. I have 3 focus areas that nest under my boss's priority. Ready forces, people, health of the force. Now what's that one thing that's in all those priorities? People. That's what makes the difference. People. Regardless of what aircraft you have out there on that ramp, if the people are not empowered, if the people are not educated, trained, and developed, it will not be successful. It always comes to the people. General C.Q. Brown, the Chief of Staff of the Air Force, when he got in the position, he came out with a paper called Accelerate, Change, or Lose. Accelerate, change, or lose. I want you to, when you leave from here, I want you to go back and look at that. It's 8 pages. He came out with that, and what it means is, if we do not accelerate, we will lose. First time ever in history, the United States is not outpacing its adversaries. Our gap between our adversaries in the 90s was like this. Now that gap is like that. In 2035, China said they will be the superpower. Currently right now, China is outpacing us in technology and equipment. So we must accelerate or we will lose. That's true fact. We must accelerate. In those 4 action orders the Chief of Staff came out with airmen, bureaucracy, competition, and design implementation, that #1 thing is airmen. We must empower our airmen at the lowest level so they can make decisions. The way we deploy will change. Many of you should have heard of the term ACE, Agile Combat Employment. In the past, we used to deploy to one big location. In the future, we will deploy to several different locations, and they will what we call hub and spoke. So it could be a location where you're out on an island in an austere location, and there's 5 people, and there's a staff sergeant in charge over airmen. That staff sergeant needs to be empowered to make a decision that the mission will move forward. That senior airman needs to be empowered to make a decision to get the mission accomplished. Each one of you must be empowered. So to all the senior NCOs in the room, I charge you with a task to empower those that you lead. That's how we will accelerate change. That's how we will move forward. That's what we got to do different to continue to be the superpower. As we wear this uniform, we represent the 1% in our nation that wear it. We provide security for the other 99% in our nation. That's why we're special. That's why we are the profession of arms. We're professionals in everything that we do. And one of the things we must do is take care of people. You know, I'm a big John Maxwell fan. One of the things John Maxwell says, people do not leave organizations. People leave people. People do not leave organizations. People leave people. So we got to take care of the people that we lead. We got to inspire them. We got to motivate them. Each one of you have a gift. If I started on this side of the room and worked the way all the way through this other side of the room, each one of you was born with a gift. As we lead our airmen, we need to identify that gift that they can be successful. I call it a success seed. In order to water that seed, you got to motivate and inspire those that you lead. In order to fertilize that seed, you got to give them an opportunity to grow. That's what you do when you lead. That's how we change organizations. In our Air Force, we just came out with, about a year ago, Air Force Foundational Competencies. The Air Force Foundational Competencies are used to build education, training, based on those competencies. There are 22 of those Air Force competencies, and they're broken up to the 4 different groups. And for you to understand them, I'm going to break them down for you and make it real simple. Because these Air Force competencies, if you understand them, it shows you how to make organizations great. 4 different categories, 22 competencies. Air Force Foundation for the organization. The first category is developing self. You got to develop yourself to be able to develop somebody else. If you a 0, you can only develop 0. But if you're a 10, you can develop 0 through 10. First category, develop self. Once you develop self, the next category in those foundations is develop others. Because once you develop yourself, you have something to give to somebody else to help develop them. Once you develop others, you develop ideas. Because you become innovative, you become thinkers. Once you develop those ideas, that last category, you develop organizations. Because you develop yourself, develop others, you become innovative with ideas, and then an organization is developed. That's Air Force doctrine broken down into the lowest level. That's how they take that and incorporate it into our professional military education and our training. But we got to be able to understand it to apply to that airman that's at that lowest level. That's how we will change this organization and accelerate that change. We have some changes coming up in our Air Force and our Air National Guard. We have some changes coming up in the enlisted evaluation system. The enlisted evaluation system is EPRs. No more bullet writing. It will be narrative writing. Now I want to ask you, is that going to make that EPR better and easier for you to accomplish?
Yes.
Okay, I got yes. Now, I'm going to do this. Before I leave, I want y'all to mark this date. I'm going to get Chief Gordon, your wing command chief, say, hey, tell me how many EPRs you behind. I'm going to call him 1 year later and ask him how many EPRs you behind. Because Chief Williams' idea, we need to constantly evolve and change, but I don't think the design of a EPR is going to change us from completely. This is what will make us change. I don't want you to look at it as an administrative item. I want you to look at it as a human factor. I want you to look at it as a human factor. And what do I mean by that? How many of you in here have kids? Raise your hand. How many of you in here ever played sports? Raise your hand. How many of you in here are human beings? Ever raise your hand? All right, that's everybody. Good. Because every human being wants feedback. There's no one in here do not want feedback on anything that they're doing. It's human nature. We want feedback. We want to know if we're doing a good job or not. As a parent, sometimes you want feedback from your kids. If you play sports, you wanted feedback from your coach. Am I playing my position right? Is my skill set right? Am I maximizing in defense? Am I maximizing in offense? Am I executing the play right? Everybody wants feedback. So if we take the EPR, we could take the current EPR right now. We could take the performance feedback and the EPR, put them up, same thing. The performance feedback just tells you how you're going to get to this point. When you do that EPR, you're just asking, did you do this to get to that point? So let's take it to the human factor. When you do that EPR, you have an opportunity to change someone's life. You have an opportunity to impact someone. You have an opportunity to sit down with someone and tell them how they can be a better person based on that feedback. Because the nuances that we have at work are the same thing we live with at home. So if you're late at work, you're probably late everywhere else you go. So let me sit down and let's sit together and talk about how you can improve in being on time. Let me make you be a better person for your husband. Let me make you be a better person for your sister. Let me make you be a better person for your child. That's how I want you to look at it with these EPRs. Making a better person. Because if we sit down with someone and look them in the eyes and help tell them how they can be a better person, take this off, we're changing, we're making the human body better. You got an opportunity to do that. Let's take advantage of it. Because everybody got a retirement date in this. It's not forever. But what is forever, that's in this uniform is forever. So let's make a better person. We got better individuals in our organization. We got better individuals in our nation. We got better individuals in our nation. We continue to be a superpower. So let's take that human factor. We're sitting down with individuals, those evaluations. I don't care if it's bullet writing. It's going to be, the new EPRs will be narrative writing. One thing we got to do, you know, with the other EPR, it used to be 1 to 5. They changed that, but we was too dumb to figure out. We still had 5 different categories. Everybody want to be to the right. Everybody ain't to the right. If you think everybody to the right, you lying. Some people in the middle, some people to the left-hand side. Start there at the left so I can grow and get better and be to the right. Be honest with me. Let's get to that point. These new EPRs will be coming out, and they're going to have airman leadership qualities on them. Those airman leadership qualities will be used for officer and enlisted. 10 airman leadership qualities. Think about them. Accountability, adaptability, decision making, initiative. Check this one out. Emotional intelligence. I need you to go out there and look at Air Force Form 724A. It has those airman leadership qualities on there and have them defined. Those qualities, you got to understand them because you're going to get evaluated on them, and you need to understand them so you can evaluate others. That's how we make each other better. So I just want to touch on a few things with our Air Force and our Air National Guard, what we got going on in the future, and I'm going to open up to the floor for any questions. So it's open up to you for any questions. If you ain't no questions, I'm going to start asking you questions.
Hi, sir. Senior Airman Lemon of the 127th FSS.
Yep. Yes. Senior Airman Lemon of the 127th FSS.
Yep.
I just have one question, sir. Where do you see the Air National Guard fitting into the military force structure as a whole in the coming years, and how can we as airmen facilitate and support that? Thank you.
Hey, great question. In the future, currently my boss, the director of the Air National Guard, we're looking at the missions that we have in our Air National Guard. The Air Force has 5 core missions. When it was created, 5 core missions that this service do. And the mission sets that we take on in our Air National Guard will always be remaining those 5 core missions. That keeps us relevant, because when you get outside of those mission sets, you have to pay for it on your own, and you're not relevant to the big service and why it was created. Those 5 core mission sets are air superiority, global strike, rapid global mobility, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, ISR, and command and control. One thing you have unique about this wing, you have 3 of the 5. Air superiority, air superiority, your A-10s. Rapid mobility, your 135s. And then command and control. You provide those. That keeps the relevance in our organization. So it's very unique. In some wings I go to, they just hit one. They may just have C-17s or C-130s, so they just rapid global mobility. So in the Air National Guard, what we want to do is stay in those 5 core missions while the Air Force was established. As we evaluate the mission sets that we have, that's the focus on to keep us relevant as we go into the future. Great question. Then we had another one.
Hello, I'm Erin Sherry with the 127th Security Forces. In regards to keeping the military as a whole in the 21st century, do you anticipate seeing a push for more cybersecurity opportunities in all Guard units and not just in comms?
Great question, and yes, we're looking at the cyber missions now because that's where the fight is at. You know, everything is moving cyber, artificial intelligence, intel. As we look at the different missions now, and we look at our adversaries. We have Russia going into social media platforms, putting false narratives out there. Everything is cyber. One thing, I was talking with a group at lunch, and this is unclassified information, but I just got in brief a while back. One of the big things that are very popular, as everybody, a lot of people use it, is TikTok. We love it, love the little short videos, TikTok. But who owns TikTok, who controls TikTok? China. Meaning, we gotta be educated about our adversaries. So anytime you get a gathering together, we need to talk about our adversaries, because our adversaries understand, anytime we put out any information, our adversaries understand about it. I need you as senior NCOs, at a minimum of 2 times a year, if it's not once a quarter, you need to have an unclassified or an intel brief with your airmen. Because when they understand the why, they will have a greater impact on their purpose and what they're doing. In anything you do, if you understand the why, you have an impact on it because you understand what you're doing. We gotta educate our airmen on what it means to wear this and what it means to execute that mission. And what it means in everything that you do has an effect. It's just very simple. I was in a location at a forward operating base, and I went into the dining facility and I asked the airmen, hey, how things going? They were, oh man, we just fixing meals. It's just, I said, okay, shut it down. Hey, bring everybody over here. And I told that crew, you got to understand the why and your purpose. You provide nutrition for everyone on this forward operation base. That enhances their physical capability to go out and do the mission. That enhances their mind to think logically to go out and execute the mission. I said, everyone on this forward operation base, when they wake up in the morning, they think about you because they're home. At noon, they think about you because they're hungry. In the evening, they think about you because they're hungry. Even some at midnight child would think about you. If this defect shut down, it would degrade the mission on this base. So you got to be able to articulate the why, what every airman do that you're leading so they understand their purpose. That's your job as senior NCOs. So that's what we must do to continue to be great. I'll take one more question. What you got back there?
Master Sergeant Maurice, Maintenance Operations Flight. My question is regarding education. You food stamps on people, and the importance of education. My question is, over the years we've seen cutbacks. On education as far as PME for members of the National Guard. You know, I'm talking about specifically in residence PME. Mm-hmm. From your perspective, what's being done to make sure that we have an increased number of seats, PME-wise, particularly in residence? Okay, thanks for the question. Thank you. So when I got in the seat in October 2020, for Airmen Leadership School and NCO Academy, we did not fill our seats. So we get about 1,200 seats for Airmen Leadership School, 1,200 seats for NCO Academy. Just this past year in 2021, I had to push out to the command chiefs and push to the Force Development Council, the Force Development Office, hey, we need to fill these seats. So in years past, we didn't have enough seats for Airmen Leadership School and NCO Academy. Now we need to push it to fill them. The seats are available for ALS and NCO Academy. Of course, currently right now, based on the continuing resolution funding, we're not filling any seats right now just because of funding, but the overall percentage for seats, we have been pushing to get those seats filled. Since I've been in the seat the last 2 calendar years, we barely made it to fill all in residence seats. Now, when it comes to Senior NCO Academy, the last 5 years, we average about 200 seats for the Senior NCO Academy. The Senior NCO Academy is located in one location. That's down in Montgomery, down at Air University down in Montgomery. The Senior NCO Academy is built to have an experience. We get authorized 184 seats for the Senior NCO Academy. The reserves component, they get authorized about 120 seats, the Air Force Reserve, because we're bigger, so we get a larger portion. In the other seats, we have international students, then we have our active duty component.
Of course, active duty is mandated to go in residence in all seats. We've been filling about, because we get extra seats on those, we've been filling about 200, on average about 210, 215 seats for the Air National Guard. Last year, it seems like it's a small amount, but the last 2 years, we've had between 8 and 9 no-shows. What do I mean no-shows? I mean they didn't show up for school. So in order for us to get seats, we need to maximize the capacity that we're being offered. Just this year, you will see coming up in this year, the Air Force, I was able to work a deal and we got 26 more additional seats for Senior NCO Academy. That's the most we've had additional seats at one time in the last 5 years. But this is the thing, we got to make sure that every seat gets filled. Out of those 8 seats, let me tell you why 2 of them wasn't filled. A person got their TLN to go in January. They did the distance learning in April. Their course was in August. They waited to the day of and said, I'm not going. So anytime we don't fill a seat, the commandant from the Senior NCO Academy sends me an email. So we got to fill ours. So initially we was going to get 110 additional seats for this year. They was going to do they do 6 classes a year, they was going to do 7. But based on COVID, they went back to 6. So now I got to see how we fill those additional 26 seats and we'd have no-shows. So it's up for us to maximize that opportunity. You should have saw an email that I pushed out 2 days ago on the distance learning. Because what we're doing, we're taking the distance learning we have off the legacy program and we're taking it to Arizona State University. Arizona State University has the largest online courses in all the colleges in the United States. So we partner up with them. So it's going to give us a better quality of product. And we got a working group that's going in to look at the curriculum to change that to give us a better quality of product. Because one of the things I told down at Air University, I told them if an airman goes in residence, I want the same airman from the Air National Guard, Air Force Reserve, get the same quality of information that airman received. Now the process and how they receive it may be different, but the quality must be the same. Because when they go down range, that Air National Guard Senior NCO, Airman NCO is going to lead that reg regardless. It's about rank. I don't care nothing about that. We're about leading. So I need them to get the same quality of information to lead in the future. Hey, but I'm going to close out with that so we can stay on time. And one of the things I want you to think about, you know, we talked about empowering. We talked about securing the nation. We talked about everyone doing their part based on education, training, and experience. But before I close out, I want to talk about 3 things that I always say make people successful. Number 1, you got to invest in yourself. Based on education, training, and experience, you got to be the best version of you. If you got to constantly be growing, you got to constantly be learning. As I said before, if you're a 0, who can you develop?
0.
That's right. Second, you got to monitor your circle. If you're the smartest person in your circle, you need to get another circle. Because it may not be a circle, it may be a cage. Michael Jordan, how you always relate this to sports? Michael Jordan won 6 NBA championships, but he wouldn't have won them without Scottie Pippen. He had accountability partner. You need to get your accountability partner. You need to have someone to push you when you want to give up or when you want to stop. Always have someone in your corner pushing you. Kobe Bryant won 5 NBA championships. He wouldn't have won 3 without Shaq. He had accountability partner. You got to have an accountability partner, someone pushing you to make you grow. And third, You got to embrace life's journey. Everything you plan won't go as planned. But if you invested in yourself, and you got a strong circle, that accountability partner, it won't be a block in the road, it'll just be a little bump. So remember those three things. You know, some people always say the sky's the limit. I always say the sky is just the view. Hey, thank you for listening. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak to you.